Hello and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another prompt recommendation video. Today I'm going to be talking about the Morgul Blade, books with weapons on the cover. Now, books with weapons on the cover come up quite a lot. I find that they're quite an easy prompt for readathons to rely on, especially because a lot of the readathons I do tend to have weaponry or fantasy elements in them. So I feel like I'm just making a generally great recommendation list for you. This also works specifically for Middle-earth Athon if you are part of my many Nazguls. I will go through all the books that I have to recommend for you, and then at the end I will tell you what I am reading for this prompt. So I'm going to start with like a young YA middle grade book that just doesn't get enough love. Like, I love this book. I thought it was such a fun ride, but I've never seen anyone else really talking about it. And that is The Midnight Twins by Holly Race. This is about two twins, obviously. This is about a pair of twins who discover that they are part of an Arthurian legend where their mother could go into people's dreams and help save them, and now they can do that too, and it becomes like this whole magical realm and stuff, but something or someone is controlling dreams and destroying people. And if you're like, but Hannah, I can't see any weapons, those things in their hands, that's... I know it looks like a disc, it's not, but that's definitely a sword, and that is like really sharp. He like hurts people and stuff. So yeah, definitely weapons. And then I would argue that the magic is also a type of weapon. So yes, like I said, it's a young YA to middle grade. It reads just on the cusp of YA, but we also have kind of body dysmorphia and stuff like that in here as well, because she has a scar that was caused by him, and it adds to the intrigue and excitement. So yeah, there's the first one. Next we'll go classic YA. That's quite clearly a scimitar. I love that I said that's quite clearly. I went to be like a big weapon and then was like, maybe I can tell you what it actually is, but I don't know. So I'm gonna go with scimitar. I think that's a thing. This is Empress of All Seasons by Emiko Jean. This is a high fantasy set in Japan where basically every year or every time that there is a new emperor coming or a prince or something, they have this Empress of Seasons kind of Hunger Games. But the main character is part demon, and she therefore is a lot stronger, faster and more vicious than her counterparts. Licking herself very loudly behind me. And she wants to be empress because then she can take over and kind of make demons legal again. So there's like political intrigue in this, there's enemies to lovers, there's all kinds of other stuff. There is like a whole side plot with like this guy who's also a ghost, which is just a bit of a weird thing. It moves, because it's a standalone, it does move very quickly. And I feel like if you need a quick read, because we've got like 9 prompts to get through, would recommend. Just because of the sheer size of it, is Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. I loved this. This has D&D vibes. This has a group of mercenaries who have kind of retired. They've all kind of like ended their crusading era, and yet when one of their daughters goes missing, they all band together again to kind of solve what's going on. And it has so many classic archetypes. I just loved it. I loved it. It was such a good time. And as you can see, big old sword on the front. So I really, really like this. I'm really looking forward to reading Bloody Rose, but spoiler alert, that's not what I'm reading for this prompt, because I forgot that I had that until I lifted it up and went, oh yeah, I have that. So anyway, Kings of the Wild. If you like D&D, if you enjoy like Vox Machina, the TV series, even to be fair, if you enjoy Stranger Things and you like that whole D&D vibe there, I really liked this. It's very high fantasy, it has all the tropes, it's a good time. This isn't necessarily a weapon on the cover, it's just kind of casually mentioned, but My Heart is a Chainsaw. I would argue that a chainsaw is a weapon, plus I really wanted to recommend this book. It's a good time. This is a YA horror about a young girl who is obsessed with final girls, and she is obsessed with slasher films, and everything in her life she manages to associate back with slasher films. And a lot of people assume that is because she has had something horrible happen to her in the past, and that she needs to kind of find an outlet for this. But then people actually start dying and they wonder if maybe she's onto something. And this is just like a wild ride. Stephen Graham Jones writes a great slasher because he loves a slasher film. And to me, that is just so obvious from this. I know again that he has not been everyone's favourite, but I cannot recommend him highly enough. I thought this was a really, really fun read. And actually, if you did want to read The Only Good Indians, which has the antlers on the top, I would allow it, because that is, you know, deer and elk use their antlers to fight with each other. arguably a weapon. So you could pick both of those if you wanted. Just saying, if you wanted to earn brownie points with me by reading new favourites of mine, that would be how you do it. Again, another slightly controversial weapon, but it has killing, and then she's got a spade. I would argue a shovel is the weapon you keep at home. So How to Kill Your Family is written like a contemporary. I mean, to be fair, it's written like Sex and the City, except instead of her trying to find a partner, she's killing off her family members, about a young woman who is in prison for killing someone. Except she didn't kill them, and she's annoyed about it because she did kill 6 other people and she never got caught for that. So it's a very kind of like writing to my diary style book. She's incredibly sarcastic. It's incredibly dry wit. It's a good time. It's a real, like, this is a fun read. The ending threw me completely, and there's like an additional perspective that didn't really need to be in there, but I gave it 5 stars nonetheless because it was a trip. And then, because I have promised with every recommendation list that I come with some very, very short reads, I have a whole myriad of graphic novels for you to read. So we have Saga, which is a sci-fi Romeo and Juliet type vibe where they are enemies, but then they're already in love, and the graphic novel starts with them giving birth to their illegal baby, and then 9 chapters later, they tear your heart out.
Ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they...
But he has a sword, and sometimes she has a gun. I'll never be over it. Volume 10 comes out this year. Then we have Violent Love, which is another graphic novel, but this is about a pair of gangsters who kind of fall in love after nearly killing a whole bunch of people. And as you can see, loads of weaponry on the front. I have Volume 2. Again, forgot I had Volume 2. Picked this book and then realised I could have picked that one instead for a nice short read. So... would have been helpful if I had remembered any of the books that I own. Then we have Rat Queens, Volume 1, Satin Sorcery. As you can see, they have all got weapons of some description. They are all weaponed up, as it were. This is another D&D vibes type narrative where it's a group of mercenaries who are out to kill monsters. I am currently on, I've got I think the 4th graphic novel to read, and then I have been warned by others to stop because the first 4 are epic, but apparently they nosedive after that. So I'm really excited for you guys to read Rat Queens because it's a good time, but like I understand it if you're like, but I wanted to commit to the whole thing and I don't know, like that's fair. And then my final recommendation is just a really cute gay almost romance. It's called Fence and it's so fucking cute. It's so cute, and look at him with his little foil, like it's cute. And basically this follows a group of guys who are learning to fence at some very posh academy. This guy is called Senji, who is one of the best in the area or the world or whatever, and he kind of has an enemies to at least friends relationship with his roommate Nicholas, who has no skill but does have a lot of tenacity and is actually a pretty good fencer. But there are 4 volumes to this. It's super cute, and I've also bought the 2 books that go with it because I'm just obsessed. I'm obsessed with these boys. They're so cute. But yes, what am I reading? Well, she's TBR'd it once. She's TBR'd it twice. I will be reading The Year of the Reaper. And also, I thought I should read this as opposed to the others anyway, because obviously the Witch King has like his big mace as opposed to like an actual sword, and that's what we've got here. Big old mace on the cover. I don't know anything about this. I bought this when I saw that it was a fairy loot book and people were getting really excited about it, but I did manage to avoid spoilers, so I know nothing about it, but this is what I will be reading for that prompt. So there you have it. That is my list of books. Great books with weapons on the cover. Let me know in the comments down below what you will be reading for this prompt, and if you have any recommendations for me with books with weapons on the cover. I need more because I've only got like 3 or 4 other than the ones that I've mentioned, which are sequels to the ones that I've already got. And I'm going to need more because inevitably that prompt will come up again. It's a very popular prompt. It's a very easy book pick to read. Other than that, I hope you're having a nice day and I'll see you next time.